L. Right. Hello everybody and welcome to PMB Division 2. This is the second test of 3 around Bahrain. We will be doing another test on Sunday at the same time around Canada. So my name is Ben. I'm going to be commentating this race along with Jensen. How are you? Yeah, we got a good race in store. Some of these guys we didn't see race last time. Our last test was, I think, was it Friday 2 weeks ago? Yeah, because we were meant to have one on Sunday last week, but we had to delay it until today. But I'm trying to think, when does Division 2 get underway? I believe it is the 28th of March. 1 minute. Yep, the 28th of March is going to be the first race of the season. In these test events, just kind of give our drivers a chance to see where they're going to be. As well as for us to figure out who's too quick to be in Division 2. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think GXL Dragon's one to watch out for because I've been talking to him a bit today in the server, and he's quick. I think he was getting 125 point somethings in time trial, which yeah, that's Div 1 pace. So is this everyone in that we have? We got 13. Okay, let me go try that. Find someone. Is Caveman in? Wow, okay, so we did actually fix it from last time then. That or it's the other way around. I just invited you to the game. Hello Gregory, hello Legend. GXL Dragon. Oh, he's in. Okay, cool. Is that everyone then? Can we go tell these guys to ready up? Okay. Yep. Yeah, I think, yeah, we're yep. Yep. Well, too bad they've already readied up for some reason. Yeah, those guys are here. Yep, both McLarens are here. If you included your audio. Because let me hear you.
Okay.
Maybe go do that, Jensen.
It already is. It just wasn't working for some reason.
Yeah, there we go. You can hear it now. So you didn't do it in the first place. Anyway, so it's Div 2 test, as we said earlier, is for drivers to kind of find out where they are. We already did have one test, but we've got a lot more drivers here today. We're going to be doing short qualifying and then a 50% race, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it is 50%. Around Bahrain, a track that's very relevant in F1 right now.
Yeah. Ben, I'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay, solo comms time. Just slows while we're waiting for you guys to go out and start their laps. I'll go through the track. As you can see, the track map's like down on the right hand side of your screen. So, we're in the desert. Let's hope there's no sandstorms like in testing. Let me see. So yeah, 3 sectors, of course, as every other track. Sector 1, you have the hard braking zone into turn 1. Gotta try and get that line right, as it'll set you up perfectly for turn then 3. Then the DRS straight down into turn 4, which is a good place to make overtakes. And then you go into sector 2 with the S turns 5 to 7. If you get the line wrong there, that's gonna really screw up your time. is the tight right-hander, so you're going to try... The drivers are going to want to... I'm trying to go as tight as they can to that curb so they can get a good exit and then go around into turn... I believe it's turn 10. 9 and 10. That's going to really screw over anyone with anti-lock brakes off. Who have we got coming out onto the track now? That's a legend killer. A wild legend killer is out on the track. So we'll watch him as he does lap. Then you have another DRS, right? Of course, 3 DRS zones on this track coming down to turn 11. There's another critical corners that sets up your line into turn 12. Of course, turn 12, if you take too much curb on the inside there, you're going on an like you're exploring me off the other side of the track. Then you get sector 3, which is only like 2-3 corners. And you have the back straight, which doesn't have DRS, so it's all about slipstream. Yeah, the corners that could mess our drivers up here. Turn 1, the S's, turns 9 and 10, turn 12. It's to watch out for. As Legend Killer's actually let Jeffrey the Gamer, I believe. No, it's actually Ferrari passed, so he's going to be the first one to get out, set a flying lap. I'm going to keep rambling until Jenson comes back. So yeah, this track is very relevant in F1 at the moment, because of course pre-season testing was happening here last weekend, and we're getting the race here a week tomorrow. Well, not the race, sorry, practice starts a week tomorrow.
I'm back.
Okay, he's back. I can stop rambling now. As we see, what was that for? I believe that was maybe someone just getting out of the way, as Ferrari is now on his flying lap as well as the Legend Killer.
Yeah.
So who would you say are the ones to watch out for today?
I think after last weekend, Skengman definitely is one to look out for. A very solid race right up until the end, unfortunate with the accident he had in Australia. GXL is going to be one to watch out for, as we haven't actually seen him race for this division. He wasn't able to make the Australian practice. Legend will also be one there on the podium last weekend, as well as Ferrari 16 being on the podium last weekend as well. Also to look out for, I'd probably say Gregory and Jackins it there. Out lap, no, and his flying lap, I'm pretty sure that is.
McLaren, of course, he did not have a good time in Australia last time out.
No, him and Lewis both had quite a horrendous time in Australia in the months. So hopefully they can perform a bit better in Bahrain, as the McLaren seem to have a bit of a in the Bahrain Grand Prix. So hopefully if the qualifying is too bad, at least they can make up for it in the races. Goes as fast as 127.7. So setting the times early.
128.2, 5/10 quicker. Slower, sorry, than Legend Killers. His teammate Jeffrey the Gamer comes in at 131.1. He's going to be wanting to improve that time. Who's next across the line? It's Zen with a 128.1, and then NF Pern at 37.3. Skangman comes across in P4 with a 129.3. As Mad Chaos comes into the pits as he messed up his lap. Who else we got out?
Man's on his out lap at the moment, so hopefully he can put in a good lap here in the AlphaTauri, as he has had a lot of connection issues and being able to just get lobbies in the first division. So hopefully now that we can actually see him.
Jago's P3.
Ooh, very quickly. Bloody hell. Sean going P1 now. Very good lap from Sean.
Oh, look at that gap.
Not a very big gap. This is going to be very close for P1. It may only be 12 minutes in, but you don't want to miss this because it's going to be very close at the moment. As we are still waiting.
I don't think safety car's on.
Oops.
Well.
Well, only people waiting for bit times now are IX Palmer, Caveman who's nice outlap, GXL, and Mad1682 Chaos. So hopefully these, as Lewis now goes into pits, hopefully these go into good work, as Jeffrey the Gamer go over 126.3 into P1. Very good that time. It was over a second, well, nearly a second and a half quicker than P2.
Well, here comes GXL Dragon coming down the main straight. DRS and all the way across the line with a 127.7. That's good enough for P4. And then behind him, Skangman, I think, who just set his lap. No, he just came to the pits.
And Conky goes P10 with 130.
I was following.
Improving from there. There's Caveman
and then
now.
we have Caveman.
Is he going to be able to put his car into the top 10. He comes across the line now. He goes in 128.1. Not a bad time there for the first laps round. The McLarens seem to be having a bit of lap times, a few mistakes. So hopefully there can be a different change for IX Palmer and Apple Success, as they do have pace when it needs to be coming, but at the moment they're just not able to show it. So hopefully they can make a good performance in qualifying in their next runs, as Lewis now comes out onto his outlap, the same as Mad1682 Chaos.
Well, of course, everyone on the soft tyres other than NF Kern, Zen, and be going for a different strategy here. But I imagine we might see them doing soft laps later on in the session.
Yeah, I think that could be what we'll see here, but it's also going to be very close to the races. This is the first time that we've had 14 drivers in division together, so it's going to be very interesting.
Dragon goes pole.
That's a very good lap there for GXL. Hopefully we get some more close lap times to him, so we can have a bit of a challenge at the front.
Let's see who else is coming around to set their lap. I believe this is NF Pern, who I think is coming into the... Anyone else on Caveman, I think, is on in lap. No, I think it's just for right now.
Yeah, Legend, Zen, Jack, and Ferrari also on their out laps at the moment. So they'll see if they can challenge GXL Dragon at the top of that leaderboard.
Yes, well, I just said in the chat that he was impeded the whole lap. So he's backed off and he's going to be going around to set another lap time. As we get him coming in to start his flying lap, and then his teammate Mad Chaos are just behind him.
McLaren's useful here for their qualifying lap, so let's see who can benefit from it most. Mad1682 Chaos is behind IX Palm. He can't go any quicker than any mistakes, hopefully.
Well, what McLaren have got to kind of hope for here, Pama doesn't give any dirty air.
Yeah,
there's a chance for the toe, but I think Pama is on a flying lap, just like Mad Chaos.
Yeah, so it's going to be... Hopefully they can make it through without any commentators curse of making it through a clean lap. And hopefully we can get a time sound as a board with only 8 minutes 40 left, so hopefully they can get a time on.
Yes, well, we do have yellow flags around sector 3 too. I think that's just a Alfa Romeo letting past a Mercedes there. Of course, Pama coming around turn 12 now. He was being very cautious there, not taking any curve at all. Just making sure he doesn't spin it.
Yeah, so hopefully we can see some good race pace. They did have quite a terrible time out in Australia. And now
let's see where they can go.
Let's see where Sky goes. P5 or 127.7. Alex goes P10
as well.
They've done far. So let's just see how this goes to the rest of the 11 minutes and 45 left. Can anybody else challenge GXL with that 6.243? Can anybody challenge him for that P1 position?
Well, we have Legend Cooler Wade coming across the line to set a 147. I don't know what happened there. Imagine he was just letting people past. So yeah, we've got everyone setting their laps now. 3 medium runners, the rest are all on soft. As Zen goes P3 with a 126.3, so the gap between him and Jeffrey is pretty close, and then the gap between Sean down to Hama, that's pretty close as well.
Yeah, good times being put on the board here. The top 3 all in the 126s, with GXL driving the other 2 at the moment, and with Sean down to Palmer. It could be very close for P1 of 4 to 6. Let's just see how this goes during the race. Hopefully no accidents going into turn 1 as well, but I think with the driver we shouldn't do much damage, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully these guys know to be cautious into turn 1, as it's a big opportunity for damage to be done through there, as I should know from our Division 1 race. About a month, Mercedes decided to just send it into turn 1. Skangman goes across the line, doesn't set a faster lap, and behind him I believe that might be Legend Killer. Yes it is, he's coming into the pits.
William McConkey can set a faster lap down in P13.
Jeffrey did get 125.9, damn!
This is a very good pace. As hopefully, as we just said, hopefully McConkey and NF Pern, as well as Gregory as well can get into those 120s. All three of them struggling in the 130s there.
Talking about McConkey, he is crossing the line to go P12 with 129.7. Still on the still on the mediums, yeah. So he's going for a strategy here.
It's going to be very interesting to see what sort of race strategy he's going to have, as he did lead race strategy out in Australia. So hopefully he can use what he had in Australia out into Bahrain and show us what really he's made of. Because he had a good race in his last race in Division 1 as well. And hopefully he can have a good race in this practice race for his Division 2, where hopefully he can show his true colours.
Yep. Well, hopefully there's great potential for good racing. I was going to mention the same league settings, and those league settings don't have safety car enabled, of course, for Division 2. But, yeah, I forgot.
To be honest, around here especially, this guy's probably not the best of ideas. Skenman loses it there into the barrier. Hopefully he can get a change and get it back out onto the track, because that was a bit of a hard hit into the tyre barrier there.
Skenman?
Not Skenman, McConkey.
Skenman's in the pits, mate.
McConkey. Coming out of the Ecky, he's just lost it onto the gravel, unfortunately. He's not seen
that is an easy thing to do.
He's not seen qualifying pace at the moment. Hopefully he can make up for this in the races. He did have a very good race out in Australia.
Well, we've now got just under 4 minutes left in this session, so everybody will be going out of the pits now. As you see, most of the grid on out, looking to set their final times of the session and solidify that position they're in for the rules.
Yeah,
a good venue for it as well.
It's going to be very good action tonight. Hopefully that we could get racing, and hopefully we get to see new people on the timing sheets and also on the podium, as the podium was a very good podium last weekend. Well, not last weekend, sorry, out in Australia. The Benji we saw in that race, so quick compared to a lot of the drivers, which I think we should realise he should be in Division 1, because after winning that race by about 40 seconds, it was quite impressive to see. So hopefully now that he's not in this division anymore, he can do well in Division 1, and we can have all at the front of the grid between Jeffrey, GXL and Zen.
Well, as you see Caveman here right now, I actually thought he was on a lap. If you look, he has no end plates, so I imagine he's had contact with either someone or the barrier, so he's not going to do another lap. Going across the line is one of the Williams. I think they didn't change on the leaderboard, that or they didn't go quicker. We have the other Williams now, who I believe is also on their outlet. Who's going to be the first one to cross the line? I think it's going to be Dragon.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see at the time. Wonder what. Hopefully, it can be a bit of a challenge towards the front, as Jeffrey's still the 129. He has put it into the 125s. Don't think GXL. I think he did finish that lap. The next person who come across the line. Trying to figure out that.
One of the McLarens coming across now. He goes on P4.
Ooh, that's a good lap there from Palmer, putting up into P4. He did have a good qualifying session in Australia. He was able to put his car up onto the grid. So let's just see how he does in the race here, as he didn't have the failure, unfortunately.
Well, Jack would be the next one to cross the line, but I believe he has messed up that lap. As 5 seconds slower in Sector 2, he's going to have time to stand on a lap, though.
You see his P7. Alex is the next. Well, Mad wants it coming across the line.
12 seconds slower.
Oh, God. It's not good for Alex at the moment. Look across now. I think we've got McConkey and NF. Sean.
P4.
Sure, there go P4s. We've also got Caveman, Jeffrey, GXL, McConkey, and NF Pern on there. So let's see if NF Pern can get out of those 137s. Try and put his car further up the grid, as he was held up on it. Hope he can put in a good lap on here and not have any mistakes.
Well, here's his legend killer. Where can he go? He stays in P6. Although, being 3/10 quicker, it's not good enough to improve decision.
Yeah, hopefully We can see the race pace we saw from last weekend.
Ooh, Skangman goes up P5. Sorry to interrupt there.
It's alright. Skangman P5 is looking very strong, hopefully.
And that's not qualifying over. So these guys are setting their final laps now.
As Gregory comes to the pits, he's not setting. It looks like Ferrari won't set another lap either with no time left.
We see Jack now activating DRS and crossing the line to stay in P8 by the looks of it.
But the one person to keep our eyes on at the moment is Pern, as he is on his flying lap and he hasn't set a rate, well, his qualifying pace lap at the moment, so the last part of turn 12 going to turn 13, is he able to put his car higher than P? He's got no traffic in front of him to affect him, so let's see, because he comes around the last turn now. Is he going to be able to put his car up into the top 10 as he comes across the line now? He goes P7 with a 127. That splits.
That's going to be interesting, especially because he's on the mediums.
Splits IX Palmer and Legend Killer apart here, so that from him is McConkey. Best finish of 13th. Not the best of qualifying sessions for him tonight, unfortunately. So hopefully he can have good race pace.
Well, as we see, Caveman goes a little expedition off the track there. They're on regular corner cutting, so that is the quickest line through turn, I believe that's 13, as there's a Ferrari spun at turn 12.
Oh, and sorry to butt in there, but Mad1682KS has been spun by the Racing Point.
Oh, that isn't good.
So
Jeffrey the Gamer goes quickest with the 125.8.
Well, and that's Jeffrey.
He was a dark horse. I never saw him being this quick.
No, none of us expected. There's that contact with Alex. Has that put his times down? He goes with 126.1.
No, sorry, quicker, and it's not good enough for P1. As we see one car left to set their lap, which is of course who sadly didn't, who, as you said, got spun by GXL Dragon. So this is your final order. This is your grid for this test race. Very
mixed grid for Bahrain. Seeing Jeffrey the Gamer at top has thrown a lot of people, as we didn't expect him to have this pace, and we weren't able to see his true paces in the Australian Grand Prix. See that he's the one on pole position today, so let's see how well he can convert.
Yeah, well, we've had a couple of surprises today, as I'm going to go give you a rundown of the grid now. So, starting on pole is Jeffrey the Gamer, followed by GXL Dragon, and behind them is Sean Mack in the Williams, Skyman in the Ferrari, and Pama in the McLaren. Behind them is NF Pern, Legend Killer, and Ferrari, the other McLaren of Mad Chaos, followed by McConkey and Gregory.
You see, NF Pern and McConkey, the only two that will be on mediums for the start of the race. It'll be very interesting to see what sort of strategy they're thinking of here.
I don't think formation lap's on either, so it looks like we're going to be going for the start of the race.
Yeah, so hopefully we can have a clean
I need to sort out all the leak.
Hopefully we can have a clean turn 1, and hopefully we get some good wheel-to-wheel racing, as we did good racing in Australia. So let's see who can get on top of this 14. See who can prevail tonight in the second test race of 3 before the season starts.
Analysing their strategy. I don't know what the strategy is going to be. I imagine it's going to be a 2-stop from soft and then to the mediums. The medium runners might go medium to hard.
Yeah, I can probably agree there. I think that's something we'll end up seeing throughout this race. But it also just depends.
So we've got a good mix of strategies.
Yeah, it also just depends on people are during the race, how many accidents there is, and if the weather does change.
Bahrain, mate. As we now have 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are off in Bahrain as Jeffrey the Gamer gets a deep start pulling away. That's a McLaren of Pama on the left-hand side of your screen. He's gained a few positions now. I'm trying to see further back what's happening. No one looks like they've been taken out of turn 1, so that is good for this race. That's good for everyone that's made it through.
Oh, Gregory has been spun at the back though. He's down in P14. And Lewis has also gone as well. I think they both just lost it on the curve there. There's Legend also going slow. He's had contact. It's like Mad1682 Chaos.
Oh, and Skangman's been spun by, I believe that was Zen, going through the S's.
Yeah,
so, even though everyone made it through turn 1, they didn't make it through to lap 1.
We have had a few drivers being caught out there. Legend and Mad 1682 KS being defect. I think Legend does have. He does have end plate damage. So that's not going to be good for Legend.
Ooh, and Caveman went for the Monkey, but McConkey closed the door there, and they had contact with, I believe that is Jack, so I don't think that Caveman, I don't know about Jack. So Caveman's dropped down to P8 now from P7. All three are still all the same as they started on the grid, but NF Pern is up from P7. Ferrari 16 is up in P7.
It's a very good start there from Ferrari, and also from McConkey up into P6, P12 that he started. Let's see how well he can do. Obviously, he has had a bit of contact and closed the door on Caveman. He's now down in P9. As Legend and IX Palmer both in the pits after their lap on troubles. As GXL Dragon now into the lead past Jeffrey the Gamer, but Jeffrey the Gamer is still sticking in there with very tight grip around these next few turns, as it looks like Jeffrey has now got him back. That was a brilliant move, but there's still GXL Dragon contact there on the rear left of his car.
Oh, there was contact there, but I believe Jeffrey, yeah, that was a bit too much wheel spin through that corner. Short shifting, of course, will help with that.
Now we do have a new leader on lap 2. It's Jeffrey the Gamer seems to be all over the track here, as he's got not much rear grip, it looks like. But he's only lap 2, so it's still all to play for here.
Yes, well, of course, as you said, we had Hammer and Legend Killer come into the pits.
It's Skengman now getting past Caveman Boot for P9. That's for Skengman, sorry, for having contact there. But hopefully he can start making up positions, as he's now trying Sean Mack in P8.
Yeah, well, so we've seen some quality here to get up from out of the top 10 into the top 10. As you can see, the predicted pit stops as GXL Dragon takes the fastest 8, and Jeffrey will be looking for another move, and he gets it done into turn 1. But he's gone a bit too deep into there as Dragon. He gets the move done, actually, he sticks it, but GXL Dragon is going to have DRS. Or is he? There is a bit of contact there, Jeffrey pushing GXL a bit off the track. So GXL gets the inside line, they do have contact, and GXL nearly spins there from the contact.
But Caveman also into the pits as he's dropped down to P12. So I'm guessing he may have had contact on one of the moves there. But hopefully he can bring it back up to the grid. As you do say though, Jeffrey the Gamer, now our new leader, with slight bit of contact with GXL. Be more battles between these throughout this lap, as GXL closing the gap now into that turn. As Skengman now gets past Sean Mack as well, from be chasing on to the back of his teammate. As GXL now going to the inside. Can he go? Alec, oh, sorry. There goes Jeffrey off the track, and GXL back into the lead. Do you see Mad 1682? Yeah, Mad 1682 Chaos out of this Grand Prix. Quite catch what happened to him, but it looks like it's just at the start of Sector 2. Looks like he may have lost it on the curb there.
Is now Jeffrey the Gamer is going to have DRS on GXL Dragon, so let's see what he can do with that. It should be an easy move, but it depends how much ERS is being used. But GXL Dragon, very aggressive defending there. Coming into the start-finish straight, but now I think Jeffrey's got past. They're still side by side.
Oh, there goes Jeff. Not good for him there. Zen and Perg get past him. Jack,
it just looked like, yeah, there.
Yeah, Jack also into the pits as well. But it just doesn't look good there for GXL. Hopefully there's not too much damage to Jeffrey, but not looking good so far.
It looks like he's missing his right side end plate.
So it could be a pit stop inbound then, as we know around here, end plate damage is especially around this sort of circuit.
I know even light green damage that I had when we div was horrible.
Yeah, it's the worst to have it around here especially.
So many quick corners around this track that just the slightest bit of front wing damage it'll just screw your face.
Yeah, completely if you have any sort of wing damage around here. As we do see down in P6, McConkey Ferrari here. He hasn't had the best of qualifier, but hopefully he can show his raw pace during this Grand Prix, as he has 6 places from the start of this Grand Prix. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he can do down in 6.
Yeah, so we've had 4 cars come into the pits this lap, as Jeffrey the Gamer does pit because of that damage. So Legend got pitted, and so I imagine he's going to try and go near the end on them, and then maybe switch to the softs. I doubt that he can go to the end on those tires, as now we see McConkey looking for a move around Ferrari, but he doesn't. He's too far back, so he doesn't get the move done. So he's wanting to try and keep this a bit clean through the S's, so that he gets a good time as he goes a little bit late into. I think that's turn 6, but it hasn't messed up his pace that much.
Stingman, McConkey's friend in P6 right behind. Hopefully they can have a good battle throughout this race.
Sorry, McConkey now gets DRS on Ferrari 16. I don't think he's far. Yeah, he's too far back to get the move done. Maybe he'll get him down the start-finish straight.
As we do see Zen in PNF very close going down that back straight. Is there going to be a move made on the front straight from NF Pern to away from PSR Zen? As he has gone a bit
Zen
wide
does
there.
go a little wide. DRS at all as well, compared to Pern, who's got 28%.
He used a lot of his DRS. Now coming into turn 1, seems to be Zen may still have the upper hand here, but there is still another zone to come up, so will Pern be able to pounce on that P2? As we do have the
managed to get past Legend Killer retires. It looks like he's just gone straight on at that corner. As now Pern and Zen side by side in the here. I don't know how much that's going to affect them. I can't see damage from here.
We've got Sean Mack down in the pits as well, down in P9 at the moment. I think he may have picked up a little bit of damage at the start of the race. Hopefully it's not too bad for him to come back into it, as we do see now Pern will have DRS coming down this straight. Will he be able to get the move done on Zen?
He's too far back. And he doesn't have front wing damage either. As we look further back, and McConkey Ferrari's managed to retake that position. Skangman right behind him.
As we do see Skangman trying to make a move, but not close enough to make a move there, unfortunately. Maybe he'll be able to do it on the next lap, or even at the start-finish straight. Maybe he'll be able to get past McConkey for P5.
And yes, we're going to go back to this battle between Zen and Pern, as Pern will get DRS down the start-finish straight.
Will Pern be able to make the move into turn 1 on Zen? He's getting quite close to it. I don't know if he's going to have enough of momentum there. He does look to the inside, and he may have been able to make it stick, but there comes Zen back on his inside, now to the outside. Oh, and Pern does lose the rear there. Hopefully it's not too much, as McConkey now passes Ferrari, but they are side by side coming to turn 2. There is a bit of slight contact to the front left, and McConkey does have the and comes to the pits in P6. Also, McConkey will be staying behind Ferrari for now. As Jeffrey the Gamer up to P7 after Skangman's pit stop. We'll see what he can do after that spin that he had on the opening few laps.
Yes, well, of course, Zen and Pern are actually, Pern's got past. Oh god, we were not watching that battle. But yeah, those two on two different strategies, as my controller batteries have fallen out of my controller when I dropped them. Now, where is the back of the controller gone? Oh, it's there.
Well, as I'm watching here, we've got McConkey trying to get past Ferrari. I'll not be able to on that straight, but maybe get enough momentum to get past him onto the start-finish straight. We're around turn 12 now. See what he can do on this straight and the main straight, as he is caught up quite a lot with Ferrari. He goes a bit deep into the turn there. Going down this straight, there's not going to be any DRS on this straight, but you'll get plenty of DRS onto the start-finish straight. It's GXL dragging into the pits as well as Zen. So NF Pern
is a 5-second time penalty if you're speeding in the pit lane.
Not good for Zen there. Ferrari and McConkey now going past them into the pits. It's not going to be good for Zen getting a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pits. As McConkey tries to look to the inside, he does get a bit of a nudge up the back of Ferrari. Ferrari seems to be clinging on to that P2 at the moment, but there is another DRS zone to come up.
Yeah, well, McConkey trying his best to get past, but he did go a bit too deep into turn 1. In Zen, that's going to be a bit disappointing for him, as he did get that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
It's Jeffrey the Gamer getting past Gregory for P6 there. It's going to be a good move into turn 1 for him, as we now see Skangman's trying to catch onto the back of Greg, as we've also got Jack and Sean Mack for P9 and 10. Those two both battling it out there. Wondering if there's going to be any changes at the back there. Jack seems to be a bit too far off Sean there.
But Sean did go a bit wide through turn 4 there.
Could be very close coming on to either of the straights, the back straight or the straight coming up. Let's just see how this battle goes for P9 at the moment.
Just trying to look further ahead as McConkey is now right up the back of Ferrari coming down the back straight. Of course, no DRS here as he does go a bit wide there.
He seems to be struggling with turn 13 tonight. It doesn't seem to be his strongest turn at the moment. Getting a bit too wide on every turn he's been through there so far. So hopefully he can make the time back up on this straight as he will have DRS.
Well, everyone that has pitted has gone on to the mediums. Other than Zen, who went onto the softs, as we see McConkey going for the move down the inside of turn 1. Ferrari not leaving much room. There was a little bit of contact there, I think, but neither of them, I don't think, has damage.
Now DRS again.
We have yellow flags.
Sean Mack out of this Grand Prix. He's just lost it going towards pit straight. Don't know what has happened there, but he's lost it. After the exits, I think he may have caught the pit wall or something like that because he is unfortunately out of this Grand Prix, which is 11 runners left in this race. McConkey very close to the back of Ferrari now, coming up to this next straight. Will he be able to get past him with DRS? We'll see now as he activates DRS. Is he going to be able to get Ferrari? He seems a bit too far behind at the moment. This could be a pit straight manoeuvre unless they both come into the pits this lap.
I don't think these guys are going to be pitting for another few laps as they are on the mediums and they only have been for 8 laps. So I imagine they're going to be pitting in maybe 5-6 lap times.
Yeah. This NF Bird's still in the lead at the moment. Seems to be getting enough of a gap to Ferrari, with a 12-second gap at the moment. So we now go back with McConkey coming down the start-finish straight with DRS.
So here he goes, trying to move, and he gets it done as GXL Dragon sets the fastest lap. And that puts the Haas cars P1 and P2.
Very good mid as Ferrari sticking it to the inside there. Ferrari may come back at him. Slight bit of contact putting Ferrari off there. But it looks like McConkey will hold on for now.
Other battles are, I don't think there's any other battles, it's just these two. As NF Pern does a 13-second gap.
Yeah, hopefully we can see a good result for the Hasses here, as we have got yellow flag.
I believe that's Caveman. Maybe he just lost it coming around turn 1, which is easy to do.
Oh, and Ferrari. Oh, McConkey has lost 2 positions there to Ferrari and GXL Dragon. I didn't see what happened there, but I've seen it as a yellow flag at sector 2. But something must have not gone too well from there, as GXL and Ferrari both passed him now.
As far as I can tell, he doesn't have damage. Maybe there was contact with Ferrari, or maybe he just lost it coming out of turn 10.
Yeah.
Which is another easy corner to spin at.
There's now GXL Dragon trying to catch up to the back of Ferrari. It could be a pit straight manoeuvre here, as he has on the newer tyres compared to Ferrari. Ferrari coming into the pits, so GXL up into P2 now, as NF Pern also into the pits. That puts GXL Dragon back into the lead of this race, as McConkey stayed out for another lap with his teammate being in. Don't know what had happened to him there in sector 2. Maybe the tyres are just falling off a bit, or there could just be a bit of contact, as he is still into P2 with Zen, who has already pitted, with that 5-second time penalty is really going to affect him during this Grand Prix.
And speaking of 5-second time penalties, Gregory also gets one for speeding in the pit lane. So, not going well for the Alfa Romeos today.
Very unfortunate for Greg there, as well as Zen, and for, as you say, the Alfa Romeo team is already out. One down in P11 with a 5-second time penalty.
And as we take a look further back, Ferrari, Jack and Pama all kind of battling here. Of course, Ferrari isn't actually racing these guys. He's just back here because he's pitted. And yeah, he's gone on to the hard, so he'll be going on to the end on those tyres.
And not Caveman, sorry, Gregory may have caused a slight yellow flag start a second one there, losing it in turn one, which is not his day today.
Ooh, but Palmer tries to go down the inside of Jack into turn 10. Risky move there, and it pushes Jack off the track as he did have a bit of contact. Yellow flags in sector 1, as I believe that's for Gregory.
He has I think he's just trying to retire at this point. He's got no front wing. He just keeps going into the tyre wall, so I don't think he wants to be a part of this race no more. He's just not having a good.
As NF Pern gets past McConkey, who has pitted this lap. Yellow flags and Gregory retires.
Yeah, we kind of saw that one coming out of a good race, and after he'd been to the tyre barrier, we could just tell he just wasn't wanting to carry on in this race. So with 10 runners left.
Ooh!
That was very close.
McConkey came out of the pits there, and Impama just left him no room down the inside. I don't know if he has damage. I don't think he does, but he's not having a fun time today with other cars.
Seems to be having much fun at all with this race in general, as Jack was a bit too wide there into. I don't even know the turn numbers anymore. I've just completely lost. But Skengman again going wide into the turns there. Don't know what is up with not Skengman, sorry, McConkey going wide into a lot of the turns today in Bahrain. Because we have a four-way battle here from P6 down to P. I can't count, can I? No, I can. P6 to P9. I couldn't count. As Jack has got DRS onto McConkey, but is too far away for getting past him here.
Yeah, well, Palmer did try and make a move, or was looking like he was going to make a move on Ferrari, but was too far back into turn 11. Going around turn 12. I don't think we've seen anyone spin at turn 12 this race yet. Maybe one, I can't exactly remember.
There's the commentator's curse.
Whoa.
We did a lot of that in Australia, so I'm just keeping my mouth shut when it comes to like that though.
See, Jack is doing really good. He hasn't spun at turn 12 yet. He hasn't binned it at all.
As we do see, McConkey has got DRS on IX Palmer. He will be going down. The inside is not very good move there, but it is IX Palmer past Ferrari for P6. As they are still side by side.
I don't know what happened there.
Neither do I. But
one
Ferrari,
minute McConkey was side by side with Palmer, and then the next Ferrari was side by side with Palmer.
Palmer again pushing a bit wide there. There's a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Feels like Ferrari could hang on. And no, it won't be.
Ferrari just left him no room.
Not the best there for Ferrari as that drops Palmer down to P9. Doesn't really have to worry about Caveman at the moment. And it wasn't the nicest of things there from Ferrari, not leaving any room for IX Palmer. But hopefully McConkey can get past him here with some DRS and his ERS. Hopefully a clean overtake and not too much of aggressive defending from Ferrari.
Yeah, Ferrari does of course have a history of a bit of dodgy defending, but and again today we've seen that a few times. But this is only a test session, so I doubt he'll be penalised for it.
Yeah, as you do say, he's had a few incidents in Division 1, which has made a few Division 1 drivers either turn their nose down at him. So hopefully he could try and get a better reputation in this division and show that he can be a clean driver. As we do see, McConkey will have DRS on Ferrari going down this straight. I don't know if he's too far behind or not. It looks like he may be, so maybe a next lap thing. It's IX Palmer into the pits after the contact there with Ferrari. With how much damage he had, but it's not been a good race for the McLarens today.
No, it really hasn't. The Alfa Romeos as well, they've both kind of struggled. So two teams not doing well. Of course, McLaren did not have a good race in Australia either, so hopefully this isn't going to be a trend across the season.
Yeah, it's going to be very disappointing if it is, but this is only testing, like we keep saying. Everything could change throughout the season, we don't know yet.
The McLarens are sandbagging.
It's like the Mercedes in real life. As I do see now though, McConkey has got DRS on Ferrari again, but again, just looks like he's too far behind to make a move. There could be a main straight manoeuvre here, as long as there is no mistakes into T12.
Yeah, well, McConkey is kind of desperate to get past Ferrari here, but he's seen some of the defending that Ferrari's had, so he's going to want to be a bit cautious with his move here and make sure he's getting it done in the right place.
Yes, I think a lot of drivers from Division 1 know how defensive Ferrari can get, as we also see NF Pernas pass Zen for P2 further at the grid, as Jack comes into the pits as well. As here comes McConkey. Can he get an inside move done on Ferrari? Will he leave enough room going into the turn? He has left room, but it looks like it may just be...
Yellow flag at turn 12.
Lewis is now out as well. Turn 12 is caught his first victim of this Grand Prix. So we're now down to 9. So this has had quite a few retirements this Grand Prix, not really due to many accidents, mainly to driver error or just giving up in some cases. So hopefully the drivers that are still on the track now will be the drivers that we finished this Grand Prix with. Hopefully not have any nasty accidents throughout the rest of this course of the races. We've had quite a few retirements of IX Farmer, Greg, Sean, Legend, and Mad 1682 Chaos as well.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to have a word with some of these drivers, if not all of them. Just tell them to watch. There's just basic driver etiquette, as some of these guys just not leaving room for others.
Yeah, it's just number one rule there is Zen also comes into the pits. It's maybe to serve his 5-second penalty, or is it just? No, it's just a pit stop. Oh no, he is serving his 5-second time penalty. He's down to P5, probably down to about P7 after this, with the 5 seconds.
And he had spent 7 laps on the softs as well, so he was maybe pitting because that tyre was getting pretty bad.
As he will be coming out looking like P8, or he could already be out. Yeah, down into P7. Sorry.
7.
The Caveman's still a bit far behind on Zen, as well as Jack, who has just recently pitted on those new tyres as well. So Zen will be looking like he wants to catch up to the back of McConkey, as McConkey still trying to catch up to the back of Ferrari 16. As we've all said before, Ferrari's defending can be one to watch for at the moment, as we do see in the background of Ferrari as Zen goes very wide into, that's turn 4 there. There is going to be a three-way battle here for P5, 6 and 7. They all seem to be a bit squirmish coming through here, as now Zen alongside McConkey. McConkey gives him the room, and it's like he's down to P7 now. Zen will be wanting to catch up to the back of Ferrari here. Try and get a move done as soon as possible so he can go back challenging the likes of Jeffrey, NF and GXL Dragon.
Yeah, well, of course, Ferrari and McConkey both on the hard tyres, so they will be going to the end. And Zen, of course, did have to pit again. I believe that was his second stop, so he'll be going to the end on the mediums. And he does have the tyre advantage. Fresh tyres, and they're quicker tyres. As he goes down the inside of Ferrari into turn 14, and he gets the move done pretty easily.
So Zen showing the pace that he can have during this Grand Prix didn't have a good start, as we have got a yellow flag sector 2 and 3. That is Jack. Into turn 12, he has had the commentator's curse from Ben.
As Ferrari managed to get back past Zen, but Zen going around the outside, inside, I can't remember which one that is on that corner. But Ferrari going to battle back with DRS. He goes a bit wide into turn 4, giving Zen the position back. So good battle between these two.
K-Man comes into the pits.
Zen went a bit wide there. I don't know what happened to him. It looked like he just kind of went off the track for a minute. I don't know what happened there. That might have just been on my screen, but...
I did see, I was checking K-Man being in the pits and seeing how far back Jack was.
But here comes McConkey trying to make a move on Ferrari. Let's see what he can do with this DRS. Both of them, of course, do have DRS. And McConkey kind of pulling out a bit earlier than he should have there, just because it's Ferrari's trying to overtake.
Okay, we got a lot of fun memories of Ferrari 16 in Division 1, but that's for another day, as we are now looking back at this battle between McConkey and Ferrari. is McConkey going to be able to get past Ferrari with 11 laps remaining? I'm hoping he will be able to, because I think as soon as he's past Ferrari, he will be starting to catch on to back of Zen, which hopefully he can catch on to the back of Skengman as well and push his way up the field, as he has got DRS on this main straight. So we've got yellow flag sector 1. That is Jeffrey the Gamer in P3, but there's not really anybody too close to worry about.
He will probably be pitting this lap, if not next, because those mediums will probably be through the roof in a couple laps' time.
Has McConkey again got DRS down the next straight, going to the inside. Has he got the move done? Ferrari not leaving any room there. Ferrari just trying to close the door, even though they're side by side. Bit of a dodgy defense there again from Ferrari, so I think there is going to be
Ferrari does have damage.
Yeah, I think Ferrari may have to come into the pits again. As, like you see, has got end plate damage there on the right hand side. So there might have to be a conversation after this Grand Prix to drivers about how defensive you do go, because that is quite a lot of cases now of Ferrari having a bit of dodgy defending. There's now McConkey trying to get back past him with that wing damage. Is he going to be able to get him going up to turn 12? Not the best of places trying to overtake somebody, as I found out in Div 1 with Ben.
As you would know.
Still blaming you for that one. As GXL is into the pits now as well from the lead. So Jeffrey staying out on those tyres, surprisingly. After the spin
well, the mediums can usually go about 15 laps, so he's maybe got one left in them, as McConkey's right behind Ferrari now with DRS.
I think we can expect to move here. No pit stop from Ferrari after that wing damage. Is there going to be any dodgy defending? No, we look like we could be alright here. Not Skengman, God's sake, McConkey up to P6. Hopefully he can catch on to Zen, who is... Zen is quite far ahead though, so will McConkey be able to catch up in 10 laps time?
Yeah, that was a good move from McConkey. He got the move done with DRS, didn't have to get it done into a corner. So he could easily increase that gap now, especially with Ferrari having wing damage. Yeah,
as we were just saying, at the end of this race, we will have to have a speak to drivers about defending, as that was a bit over keen on defending there from Ferrari, as we know from Division 1 as well. So we'll just have to have a conversation with drivers after that, and hopefully we won't see too much of it in Canada.
Yeah, well, there has been quite a few incidents today. So yeah, definitely drivers are gonna kind of sort this out before the start of the season, or they will start seeing penalties.
Yeah, we know how much of a evening we have to have after Div 1 races of incidents. So hopefully we don't have to do too much of that in Division 2. Skengman into the pits from P4. Zen will get past Skengman here, as he just come through to the straight now. McConkey looks like he's stayed out, and Ferrari also stayed out with DRS. Will they get past Skengman?
Skengman is on the softs, so if he can stay close to these guys after the after his pit stop, after he comes out, if he can stay close to these guys and close that gap, he could be in with a chance of overtaking both of them.
Yeah, I think they both due a pit stop as well, Ferrari and McConkey. I think they're both due a pit stop.
No, I don't think so. They're both on the hard, so they can go to the end.
Fair enough, actually. It just depends if Ferrari's wing damage gets any more difficult for him. It may only be an end plate, but like we said, end plate damage on here could be a big factor.
Yeah, well, of course, these two on the hard tires, which are, of course, the slowest. And then you have Skengman, like, nearly 2 seconds behind them on the quicker tire, the quickest tire.
Yeah, it's going to be...
So this is going to be interesting.
Because he is using his ERS at the moment to catch onto the back of Ferrari 16 for P6. We could see quite an easy move for Skengman on this next lap on Ferrari, as he is on the quicker tyres compared to Ferrari, and with wing damage for Ferrari, it's going to really affect him.
Look how much he's
behind him. It's Jeffrey the Gamer also into P2 now from GXL. Good move into turn 1, as he has lost a bit of time there in turn 1, and GXL is coming back at him for P2. It's very close, wheel to wheel here, coming into turn 3. GXL looks like he's got the advantage and keeps that P2, as Jeffrey losing the rear again not having the best of times with his rear end here. That was a bit of a mad sentence, but he's shot a bit of time here with GXL. As you do look back, Skateman did get past Ferrari, now going to get past his fellow friend McConkey for P5, which is very much inevitable with the faster tyre he is on, and he's going to want to be hunting down TFR Zen XH in P4.
Yeah, well, of course the gap is 10 seconds, and he could close that pretty quickly, as he has already got near the second gap to McConkey behind him.
Yeah, it's going to be very close towards the end of the race between TFR Zen without any incidents, no commentator's curse there, and Skengman. Skengman, going to make sure I said the right person.
As we saw in the background there, McConkey did go, or that was Ferrari, I can't remember which one it was, did go a bit wide on the exit of turn 10.
NF Pern now into the pits from the lead, which I mean GXL Dragon will go back into the lead of this Grand Prix, as also Jeffrey the Gamer into the pits as well. So GXL could get quite a good gap here, as NF Pern is just coming out of the pits now. Where is Zen? He is coming down the straight, but he will get past Jeffrey, but I think he may just be behind NF Pern, so he'll be pushing on, try and catch up for that P2.
Well, I think we're going to see a good battle between Jeffrey and Skengman here. Of course, both on the soft tyres.
Skengman gets past him in the pit stop phase, so we're seeing Skengman trying to catch up to the back of Zen now to take that podium that he was robbed of in Australia with that accident he had right towards the closing stages. As I do just want to take you back to the fact again that Ben has had the commentator's curse this time, not me, saying that Jack's going to spin at turn 12. As I was the one that gave everybody... I was the one that gave Skengman the commentator's curse in Australia that he was going to spin at turn 12. And now Jack's had the commentator's curse from Ben in this Grand Prix. But hopefully he is only... Well, I'll say now he is 28 seconds behind Ferrari.
But here comes Jeffrey.
Well, Jeffrey alongside with Skengman now looks like he will just stay behind for now, choosing the right option, but he will be the front straight. He has. Oh, Skengman has put Jeffrey into the barrier there. I don't know if there's any damage. Doesn't look to be any damage from Jeffrey, so he's kind of got away with it there. Skengman does look like he's letting him pass after that. It was
I don't think Skengman saw him there. It was a bit of a bold move from Jeffrey.
Yeah, but good driver quality there from Skengman. Respect for other drivers. Jeffrey does go a bit wide there, but Skengman will come back at him on the straight with DRS and ERS. Just very close going to turn 1. You see now Skengman, he's going to go to the outside. Doesn't look like the right place to be. Is he going to be able to go just a little deeper than him? But no. There's Ferrari now from P7 into the pits. So that front wing damage will be getting replaced, so he will be able to try and catch on to the back of McConkey. I don't think he'll really have a challenge from Jack, as Jack's only just coming through the last turn now. So it's like could be okay for Ferrari, depending on if Jack can catch up to the back of him now.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to leave you for a minute. The camera is on Jeffrey the Gamer, so if you want to kind of commentate that battle.
Yep, we can go on to Jeffrey now. This is like Skengman will have DRS on the back of Jeffrey the Gamer here. He may be just too far behind on this straight, but it could again, if there's no mistakes for Jeffrey, it could be the pit straight manoeuvre here. So let's just see how this goes. Nobody's really had an accident here in turn 12 out of these two at the moment. As Jeffrey went a bit wide going into turn 13 there as well. There's NF Pern setting fastest lap at 128.272 in the Haas. He's been having a very good race today, as this is his first race in the division, as he wasn't able to make Australia. As we now look, Skengman got DRS and ERS on Jeffrey the Gamer, but he is quite a large chunk behind him at the moment. But it doesn't look like there's going to be any trouble going into turn 1. He may have just outbroke himself there, but he will have DRS again going into turn 2 and 3. Is he going to be able to get a move done? As we do see in the background, McConkey trying to catch up with that 7-second gap. There's also Skengman trying to save as much ERS as possible here to make a move on Jeffrey the Gamer for P4. It'll be very interesting for these last 5 laps of this Grand Prix. As we do look up to the front of the grid, obviously these guys can't see, but we do have a 5-second gap between GXL and AFPern. So this could be the way it finishes unless there is an accident somewhere involved. As we do look now, Skyman seems to have lost quite a bit of time as he is down to a 1.5 second gap. So he could be trying to save fuel as he is in a saving fuel mode at the moment. But it could be a challenge if Jeffrey does have a mistake, as he has got a tendency of losing the rear end at the moment, especially around some of these turns, as they are quite tight turns. If you take too much curve, you are a goner. He is still 1.6 seconds behind. He is just seems to be dropping off the pace a little bit now with Skengman. But there won't be any DRS coming onto the start-finish straight, as he is too far behind for DRS at the moment. Yeah, he might just be saving a bit of fuel here. He's using the overtake a little bit as well. He may just try to conserve some fuel for these last 4 laps, just to try and put a last lap push onto Jeffrey. Jeffrey increasing the gap now to 2.1 seconds. So you do see in the background McConkey trying to close that gap to his friend, very close friends they are as well. He wants to get that P5 away from Skateman. As we did see in Australia, for the last 3 laps he had a brilliant push to try and get up higher into the race. So let's see what he can do here with 4 laps remaining. Will he be able to close that 10-second gap to Skemman?
Yeah, well, I think this may be our results set in stone now. The only ones that could change, as you said, are Jeffrey and Skengman.
Might be able to see a late push from McConkey, but at this point I think it may just be set in stone for where we are, unless there is an accident, as it's always a possibility around this circuit especially. But the one thing we could see, Caveman is trying to catch up to the back of Jack at the back of the grid. It's 2.7 or 2.6 second gap, but he is trying to catch up to the back of Jack. So that could be one to look out for towards the end of the race as well. It may only be for last place, but it's still a battle regardless. So hopefully we can see a good battle at the back here, as they are quite far behind Ferrari, who seems to be set in stone in P7. And also McConkey, sorry, a hell of a long way in front of Ferrari. But he doesn't have much to worry about there. Skengman drops it to 3.7 seconds now. I think he may just be trying to conserve his tyres and conserve his fuel load, as he's dropped off a lot in these last few laps.
Yeah, well, you've got to remember that Skengman is on older tyres.
Yeah.
Even though they are 2 laps old, we could see a bit of his tyres dropping off.
Yeah, well, it's got that well, there's a high possibility for that as well. So maybe it could just be the way this is going to finish now, as we do see GXL Dragon leading by just less than 4.5 seconds. But it is dropping down, as AF Pern may try and put a last lap effort to try and catch up to the back of him and give him a bit of a challenge for these last few laps. But he does still have a 4.3 second gap.
I just got a message from Jack. Let's just say he's not happy with me.
Can you blame him?
For the commentator's curse.
We knew it.
I still find it funny as well that it was Jack that I directed it to, and it was him that spawned.
Yep. I kind of expected you to come and give somebody a commentator's curse today. I just knew that something was going to happen. Skangman now dropping that gap down to 5.5 seconds, so yeah, he will just be trying to conserve those soft tyres now. As McConkey still 12 seconds behind Skemman, so I don't think there's going to be much of an effort there, unless Skemman does have what happened in Australia, but hopefully I haven't given another commentator's curse there. Because I'm pretty sure Skemman will hate me after that.
Yeah, Jack, I didn't mean it, I swear.
Alright then.
It wasn't my fault you spun.
As you say now, if we do look up to 3rd and 4th, there is only a 1.4 second gap between Zen and Jeffrey, so that could be very close for these last 2 laps. Could be a good battle here for P3. could be the next lap, or it could be a main straight maneuver here, depending on how much time Jeffrey can make up on this straight. As he will have ERS. He will have any DRS, but he is putting in his ERS. With only 20% left of his ERS. He may try and make a move go to turn 1. Won't have any DRS, unfortunately. Or he might do. No, he's not. He was just a bit too slow for DRS there. But he has caught onto the back ring quite well here. So we could see, well, 2 laps left now, we could see a move for P3 as Zen seems to go a bit too deep into that turn, so it will lead Jeffrey with DRS, sorry. But here we go, going down to the next straight. Is he going to be able to make a move? He seems to be a bit too far back at the moment. We've only been half a second behind as he goes a bit wide there. We'll be keeping an eye on this battle. It's going to be very intense to see who will get the final podium position in our second practice race of Division 2 pre-season.
Yeah, well, these two very close right now. Are we going to be seeing some last lap overtakes here?
I think there could be an overtake here with the DRS and ERS that Jeffrey will have on Zen. As he has activated his DRS. He goes, looked at his back going to the back end there, lost the rear again. But he's going to the inside. He should have really did the inside move after we see what happened last time. But Zen defended as much as possible. So this looks like it could be a main straight maneuver here for Jeffrey the Gamer. As they both go wide there at the exit of turn 13. This could be a turn 14 maneuver, or it could just be a front straight maneuver for Jeffrey.
Well, of course, we are running regular corner cutting, and that line through turn 13, sorry, is the quickest line. As there we go, we see Jeffrey getting past.
Very well deserved there from Jeffrey, putting his car up into the right position, right place, right time, up into P3. This could be set in stone, but we still do have a lap left, ladies and gentlemen, so hopefully we can see another battle here as we look down to Zen, who has got DRS. Will he be able to come back? It looks like it's too far behind at the moment, but not a lot of ERS left for Zen at the moment. And everyone's starting to run out of fuels. He uses ERS here. Is he going to be able to make a straight move for Jeffrey, or is it going to stay GXL, NF, and Jeffrey the Gamer?
Well, I do think Jeffrey deserves this podium after what happened to him earlier in the race when he was battling for P1.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens now as we're coming down the straight. Zen will get DRS, but I think he's too far back to do anything here.
As they do go on board with GXL now, as he's coming down to the last turn to take a very well-deserved first victory in the practice events for this, as he comes across the line now to take P1 in the Bahrain Grand Prix. NF Pern taking P2. Will Jeffrey stick on for P3? Looks like he will do. Then falling off a bit at the end. As Jeffrey now coming around to the straight. He sees the finish line.
Don't celebrate too early.
God, he nearly crashed.
I'm just waiting for that.
Yellow flag in sector 3.
Yeah, I think that's just because Jeffrey was going slow.
Yeah, we see Jeffrey P3, Zen P4, Skankman coming across the line to go P5. As we now go about McConkey, who's coming down to the back straight now. He'll be coming home. Hopefully he can be pleased with P6. It has been a good performance. Bearing in mind he did qualify P12. So making up 6 positions during the race. He comes across the line to finish P6. Ferrari as well had not the best of qualifying. He's now died at P7 after contact with McConkey and a bit of dodgy defending. As he comes across the line now to take P7 in this Grand Prix. As now we look back as well. Caveman, unfortunately, if there was another lap, he would have caught to the back of Jack with 1.5 second gap. As we look back now, Jack coming across the line in the Ferrari to finish P8, and Caveman finishes P9 to round out and finish off the second test event of the Division 2. And boy, was it a good race to see.
Well, we had a lot of incidents and some different strategies, mixed strategies, of course, having a big play here. But yeah, there was a couple of incidents that we're probably going to need to talk about. But yeah, we'll run you down. Well, we'll show you guys the podium, we'll run you guys down the file over it, then we will say goodbye. Of course, the next test being on Sunday at the same time.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll miss that test event, but hopefully it can be more action-packed. We can see a good test event for Canada. But as we do see now, onto the podium, GXL Dragon taking his first victory. May only be practice, but it's proven the pace that he does have with the rest of the guys on the grid.
Yeah, well done to our podium, our drivers on the podium. Yeah, well done to these guys, and yeah, this is your final order. So GXL Dragon won the race for Racing Point with NF Pern and Jeffrey the Gamer joining him on the podium. Zen, Skyman, and McConkey finished 4th, 5th, and 6th, with Ferrari coming on in P7. Jack, Caveman, and Pama round out the top 10, and then we have Pama, didn't even finish the race, and our non-finishers were, of course, Pama, Gregory, Sean, Legend, and Mad Chaos. So, thank you, Jensen, for joining me for this race.
No problem. It was very, very action-packed race, and thoroughly enjoyed being here on commentary with you.
And of course, thank you to you guys at home who watched. And well done to our drivers today. So yeah, we will see you guys on Friday at 7:30 p.m. for the final test, which will be around Canada. I've messages from Alex. Please leave me alone. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. We will see you on I will see you on Sunday because Jens is not joining me.
Hey, I can't help I got work.
Right. Well, goodbye.
Thank you, guys.